You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And today, man, Blake Snell, he just keeps getting better and better in a Giants uniform. And after he watched Logan Webb toss a complete game shutout on the Giants' last outing, Snell looked over and said, "Hold my beer, Logan," and tonight went out and turned in his first career no-hitter as the Giants win 3-0 over the Cincinnati Reds. A career night for Blake Snell, and I'm saying this after every single start since July 9th. And tonight, he had never even thrown a pitch in the ninth inning of his professional career until today. And Big Fly Fitzy, we got to mention him. He did it again as he launched his 10th home run of the season, his 9th in the last month. Also started that streak on July 9th. Pretty good day for the Giants if we're looking retroactively, on his way to driving in 2 of the Giants' 3 runs in the win over the Reds. They only needed 1 of those, really, with Blake Snell being as dominant as he was. We'll break it all down, but first I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're getting the show, we appreciate it. And make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick does a great job. And tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As the playoffs wind down in the NBA and NHL, and the sports just aren't sportsing like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Man, oh man, Snellzilla has officially returned to Cy Young form, if he hadn't already. I mean, coming into tonight, just in the month of July, when he came back from that from that injury, he had multiple this year, but his last trip to the injury list, once he came back from that one, in the month of July, he posted an ERA sub-1, 0.75, 30 strikeouts in 4 pitching appearances in the month of July, and somehow improves on that tonight. Blake Snell, as I said, had never thrown a single pitch in his big league career past in the 9th inning. The deepest he'd ever gone prior to this was 7 2/3. He never even finished the 8th inning prior in his career. This is the first time that he's done it. So Snell did it on 114 pitches. He was able to keep that pitch count low, which is super critical for a guy who loves to go for that strikeout. And he still got 11 Ks tonight. He limited walks. He only walked 3. He said in the post-game interview, if you just caught it on NBC Sports before we went live here, he was talking about how he got himself into a little bit of trouble in the 5th inning. Said he was getting kind of cute. Those were his words. And he walked a few guys. I didn't even really I remember there being some traffic on the base paths in the 5th inning, but I couldn't really off the top of my head remember a moment where he really even seemed in trouble. And I went back and rewatched part of that 5th inning. He walked a dude and then got a double play and then walked another dude and got a fly ball out. He was not in any serious trouble at any point in time. That was Blake Snell's, toughest moment. That was the only point in time this game where he said he got kind of stressed out. And how fun is it to watch a Blake Snell interview, man? I'm so glad that this guy's finally doing well, just because we can get the real vibe of a Blake Snell, and he seems to fit in perfectly with San Francisco's culture and community and just the way that people kind of are just more laid back and relaxed here. I mean, I'm just, look at me, every day I'm doing a show in a hoodie and a hat, and that's just kind of definition of West Coast vibes, you know what I mean? And Blake Snell fits right in with that. He's making jokes up there right after tossing a no-hitter, and I mean, of course, the guy's feeling loose, he's juiced, he's super happy, but just the calm demeanor of a Blake Snell, especially amidst all the excitement, I love it, man. I really like this guy. He said that he was glad he didn't get traded. Flem had to throw that question in at the end. Said he wanted to stay here in San Francisco, but didn't really elaborate more on that. So he said he's happy to be here, and he's sure is pitching like it. I'm glad that he's still here. I do still wish they would have traded him at the trade deadline, but I am glad that we get to see this no-hitter in a Giants uniform. And who knows, maybe if he has all this success here, maybe he doesn't want to leave. Maybe he looks at how last offseason went and he doesn't want to hit the reset button again and do that whole song and dance with Boris and not signing until the last bit of spring training. Maybe he just doesn't want to do that again. Maybe he decides to come back to the Giants next year, and that would be amazing. And if the Giants can make the playoffs and make a playoff push, that just, I think, builds their case for next season in keeping Snell. Snell also said in that interview that he felt kind of tired in the 7th and told himself he better wake up because he looked at the scoreboard and realized he had a no-hitter going. And obviously you're looking in the dugout. No one's going over and talking to him. He was flipping through the binder just kind of by himself on that bench for a while. And man, what a night from Blake Snell. He had the inside fastball going again against right-handers. And we've talked about that a lot in his starts since he's come back from this injury list. A lot of this success has been because of the fastball command. Early in the season, he was all over the place with that fastball. And that's supposed to be the pitch that you're, able to control a little better than that giant bender, that big breaking curveball that just snaps off. He's got big old rainbow with that one. I understand why that pitch is a little harder to control, but the fastball, he should have had better command over that in the beginning of the season. Now he just has otherworldly command over that pitch. It is night and day. It's like watching two different guys out there on the mound. I mean, I know him not having a spring training hurt him. I also don't think he was really right physically for the first half of the year. I don't think he was fully healthy until now. I mean, until this last return from the injured list, I don't think his body was ready for Major League Baseball. He looks like he's got it all going on right now. I mean, everything is locked in. The delivery looks so silky smooth. I mean, and he's just doing work up there. He just seems so collected. He doesn't seem to get too high or too low. He's just, I mean, in contrast that with like a Logan Webb or a Hayden Birdsong who's just running red hot all the time. It's a different vibe and a different look out there on the mound. And he looks so cool, calm, and collected cruising through these 9 innings tonight, man. Blake Snell, what a fun game to watch. And the Giants needed these last couple wins in a big way as the team's been kind of reeling since they didn't really do anything at the trade deadline. They couldn't generate any momentum out of the All-Star break. And I said last time that the Giants played on Wednesday night on our last show, the best way to remedy this, the best way to get a disgruntled fan base back behind your guys is to go out there and win. And not just win, but you have back-to-back games of a Logan Webb complete game shutout and then a Blake Snell no freaking hitter. Are you kidding me? How can you not immediately look at that and think back to the golden days? And I know I talk about the golden era of the Giants a lot. You can't blame me, man. I was like 17, 18 when they won that first championship in 2010. And it was right in like that moment in life where things are just, you're super impressionable. You carry stuff with you that happens at that point in life forever, for the rest of your lifetime. And those are memories, I mean, that I will never forget, that I will remember better than many other things that have happened to me in my life that probably were more, directly impactful on my life than the Giants winning a championship. But nonetheless, this is something that gets seared in your brain, and how they won those championships and how they built those contenders. It's hard not to look at Webby and Snell and think this is something. I'm not saying that they're Timmy and Mad Bum and Matt Cain, that they're not, the homegrown, they're not both homegrown guys that are going to be perennial all-stars forever kind of thing. Like Blake Snell's come here in the latter half of his career. I get all that. But just from a talent perspective, when is the last time that the Giants starting pitching staff was this good? It kind of made me revisit the comments that Farhan had the other day of this might be the best pitching staff in baseball. And it was hard to swallow that pill when Farhan told us that, and then we watched Robbie Ray go out there and give up 3 home runs in 4 1/3. That was rough. But the bounce back has been pretty nice. And it's kind of hard to sit here and refute that when we're looking at this very small sample of work in these last just 2 games. Yes, it is just 2 games out of 162. But it's something. This is something that you can build momentum on. You can use these 2 games as a springboard to launch yourself into a competitive second half and a playoff push down the stretch. We're in the month of August officially. My birthday month, by the way. Shout out August. As I mean, who doesn't love August? Most babies born in this month, as to any other month, August babies are the best babies. Obviously, like myself. I maybe I'm biased, but I love an August birthday. So why not celebrate all month long? It's just what we do here on the Locked On Giants postcast. And so is Blake Snell, man. He was celebrating all month month of July, and he's just rolling that celebration on into August. The last thing about that post-game interview that I thought was really funny was he got the ice bucket dumped on him, and Logan Webb got the ice bucket too when he after he finished his complete game shutout on Wednesday. And Webby was a little, reserved about it. Like, you could tell that he thought it was funny. He was chuckling, but he was kind of, that didn't feel so great. He was kind of quiet and like Logan Webb awkward about it. And today, Blake Snell handled it as cool and calm as you would expect a guy, who's riffing with Kruk and Kipe during the game in game interviews. He handled it exactly like you'd expect that guy to handle it. He starts critiquing the dump, says the lid hit him in the head, and he's just criticizing. He's like, it's cold, I need a minute now, and he's like critiquing the form of the actual like ice bucket dump. So I mean, it was just all vibes from Blake Snell tonight. Particles were sky high, and you know what? It's just. I'm not taking credit for this, but I'm just pointing something out. Every time that the Grateful Dead come into my life, something good happens. And yesterday, I went and saw the Dead and Company at the Sphere, and it's sandwiched right between a Logan Webb complete game, Giants off day, seeing the Dead at the Sphere, and then Blake Snell no-hitter. Maybe I just need to go to Dead shows at the Sphere on every single Giants off day. If you guys want to fund that for me, I mean, I'll put out my Venmo link. We'll make this happen. Trust me. I think this is what we need to do to get Blake Snell to throw no-hitters every single time out. I'm kidding. You can do that if you want to, but I'm not. We're kidding. We're just riffing here. But so we got to take a quick break here. More on Blake Snell's no-hitter and Tyler Fitzgerald. We got to mention his heroics today as well. He continues to stay on a heater, and the Giants made some roster moves. We'll run through those a little bit as well later on in the show. Going to take a quick break here on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's show is sponsored by FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down in the NBA and NHL, we get fewer games, and the sports just aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep all the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a booster bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. And you should be using those boost and bonus to put money on Tyler Fitzgerald anytime home run. We've been saying this for the last month. If you've been just betting this, just throwing some shekels on Tyler Fitzgerald anytime home run, I mean, just any time in the month of July, you've probably had a pretty good chance at hitting on one of these. So until he cools down, keep doing it. This guy's got 9 bombs since July 9th, not even the last full calendar month. In the last 3 weeks, dude's got 9 home runs. So keep riding the hot hand. So head on over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And today's show is also sponsored by Supply House. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is jam-packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. And did I mention it's free? Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and today, Blake Snell, man, he is the story, the start, the middle, and the end of this entire Giants story tonight. Maybe a little bit of sprinkle of Tyler Fitzgerald in there, but Blake Snell goes the distance. A no-hitter, his first career no-hitter, the first Giants no-hitter. You ready for this? Since 2015, you guys remember who the last guy was to do this? His name, it was not any of the big guys. I mean, you maybe you're remembering like the Tim Lincecum one, but that was 2014. That was the last home no-hitter, but the last Giants no-hitter was Chris Heston. Chris freaking Heston in 2015. I mean, that was a blast from the past. I mean, I like kind of lost that in the memory banks back here. I forgot Chris Heston tossed one. It was June 9th, 2015 at the New York Mets. So it's been almost a decade since we've seen a Giants no-hitter, and it comes by the hand of Blake Snell as he spins the 9 scoreless innings, 11 strikeouts, only 3 walks. And I got news for you. Blake Snell, who would come off the injury list with an ERA up near 10 when he came back in July. Well, that ERA is now sitting at less than half of that. It's 4.29. And if Blake Snell goes out and does, I mean, if he has barely given up any runs, like I said, since the start of July, since July 9th, he's got a sub-1 ERA. In all of July, he had a 0.75 ERA, and tonight he goes another 9 scoreless. So that's going to go down even further, which is just bonkers. And I mean, Blake Snell has been so good since he came back off that injury list. And it's not like he's just doing this against bad teams. Like the Reds, not a great team. Colorado was the team he pitched against before in his last outing when he had those 30 swings and misses, setting a record. That was also Colorado, not a good team. But right before that, he went 6 innings against the Dodgers and only gave up 2. I mean, and then right before that, he went 7 against the Twins and only gave up 1 hit and no runs. Those are 2 playoff teams. He did it against the Blue Jays too. That was his first game back. The Blue Jays, we know how their season has gone. They were just here in San Francisco, and we saw how that went. The Giants and Blue Jays having kind of similar seasons, very underperforming, although the Blue Jays, I will say, I think they have a little bit more, at least offensively, just raw talent and power that's just been slumping in a bad way. But the Giants, it's kind of been a collective thing where the whole team has not really been delivering until recently with this pitching staff. Robbie Ray had that hiccup, but before then, this starting staff has been starting to come together for a little while, and the offense has really been letting them down. This is the same thing that we've gone through all season long. But Tyler Fitzgerald, man, as I said, he hit his 9th home run in the last 3-ish weeks since July 9th. And he's in that time, in the month of July, from July 9th on, he batted .340 with 16 hits, 8 home runs, 13 RBIs, and 13 runs scored in 13 games. So he's averaging an RBI and a run a game, and a home run every, more than half the time. If he just keeps that going, that would be incredible. He would break every single offensive record ever set in Major League Baseball. He obviously is not going to do that. He's going to come back down to earth a little bit. You already see that with the batting average. For a while in the month of July, he was hitting up around 500, north of 450. The 340 is a little bit more realistic, but still, my God, Tyler Fitzgerald has been on a heater, and he just needs someone on this offense to help him out and someone else to start doing something too, because the Giants did collect 9 hits tonight, but a lot of them were not very timely. A lot of Giant strikeouts in really unfortunate situations where you can't have strikeouts, where you got runners on base with 1 out or no outs and in scoring position, and you just have unproductive out after unproductive out. It's very frustrating. We saw Mark Canha's debut today. He picked up a couple hits. He went 2 for 3. Drew a walk as well. He did strike out once. It's nice to have a guy who can play the corners and play first base and kind of spell Lamont Wade Jr. over at first while Wilmer is on the shelf, and it gives you another bat in the outfield. The Giants also DFA'd Hill to make room for Canha and others. So that it's kind of a lateral move, in my opinion. It gives you a little bit more defensive versatility. The difference between Hill in the outfield versus Canha in the outfield is not big in my mind, and it's not going to be a move that really makes or breaks this Giants season at all. It's just another body. And honestly, it's pretty underwhelming that the one bat the Giants got at the deadline was a 35-year-old outfielder with a sub 250 batting average. I feel like we got plenty of aging outfielders with sub 250 batting averages and not very sexy home run totals on this team already. We don't need more of these same dudes, but Mark Canha had a nice night, so we're not, whatever. He's, as long as he contributes, as long as he fits into the mix, and from what we've all heard, he's a great clubhouse guy, a great guy in the locker room, and Bay Area guy, Bob Melvin guy, played over in Oakland for quite a while with Bob Melvin on the A's. And as we're talking about roster moves, we might as well mention Encarnacion got the call up as well, and he's been doing some work down in AAA. He's been a decent River Cat this year. He was hitting 352, 44 for 125 with 21 runs, 3 doubles, 10 bombs, and 33 RBIs. OPS over 1,000 in 33 AAA games with Sacramento. He was in the middle of an 18-game hit streak in AAA when he got this call up. During that streak, he's hitting over 400 with 14 runs, 2 doubles, and 7 home runs, 25 RBI over that span. He's been playing pretty well. He signed with the Giants on May 22nd. Prior to that, he was down in the Mexican League. Down there, I believe Pablo Sandoval owns a team in the Mexican League. Shout out Pablo. I love the Panda. I definitely, if you didn't already guess, I was for sure a kid with one of the Panda hats when I was younger, when I was like 14, 15, 16 in high school. Always rocked that thing to every single Giants game I went to. It's so anyways, Gerard Encarnacion gets the call up, and he did not have a good game tonight. He made his it wasn't his MLB debut, it was his Giants debut. He made his debut for the Mariners Marlins, in 2022. Today for the Giants, he went 0-for-4 with 2 strikeouts, got subbed out for Mikey Yaz as a defensive replacement late in this game. Mikey Yaz made the final out of this Blake Snell no-no, and it was also a kind of a clutch at bat, as you had the matchup that you wanted there at the end. I mean, if you're just a baseball fan and you want to see strength on strength, you're seeing Elly De La Cruz versus Blake Snell. Elly's just trying to stop the no-hitter, and Blake Snell got the better of him. Elly gave it a little bit of a lift to right field into the gap, but Mikey Yaz ranged over there and was able to make the play. Kind of jumped when he caught that ball. Didn't need to at all, but he just started leaping for joy for the Blake Snell no-hitter, and he started doing it as the ball was entering his glove. Like, he hadn't even completed the catch yet. Mikey Yaz is bouncing around out there in right field. It was a sight to see, man. If you haven't seen it, go back and rewatch it, because what a fun outing this was for the Giants as they win 3-0 over the Cincinnati Reds. And man, oh man, is this Giants team rolling now? I mean, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I mean, they have a lot to work with. And with the recent pitching performances, especially considering, what Logan Webb did just on Wednesday, and then thinking about further, Robbie Ray's last start was a hiccup, but before that, he looked pretty nice in his first return from the injury list for the Giants, and he spun 5 no-hit innings. And then you got Hayden Birdsong out here doing what he's doing. It made me rethink some of these comments that I just ripped Farhan for a couple days ago. There's one in particular that is sitting a little bit better with me now, at least when we're talking about the trade deadline comments that he's made. That guy's made a lot of comments that don't really sit well with me and with a lot of the fan base in his tenure here. But there's one thing that he said after the trade deadline that did, in retrospect right now, I don't hate it. We'll get into that on the other side of the Locked On Giants postcast. I'll explain that and more as we wrap up this show on the other side. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's show is sponsored by Liquid IV. When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. You know those popsicles, the firecracker popsicles? I love those. They're a summer staple ever since I was a little kid, but my new summer staple is Liquid IV's Popsicle Firecracker flavor. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. Yes, I said indulgent hydration. I love Liquid IV's great taste, and staying hydrated is so essential for my lifestyle. Whether I'm at Oracle Park on a nice sunny summer day, or I'm at a Dead concert in 100+ degree Las Vegas, or maybe out at a music festival in Golden Gate Park outside Lanza next weekend, or maybe I'm out on a backpacking trip on a Giants off day. No matter what I'm doing, staying hydrated is essential. I got to make sure I keep that thing on me. And yes, I'm talking about that Liquid IV, of course. And with Liquid IV, it's more than just a drink. It's a science-backed way to hydrate better. Tear, pour, and live more. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than just water alone. Powdered by LIV Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So, no more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and today the Giants with a great 3-0 win over the Cincinnati Reds. Blake Snell spins a no-hitter. Tyler Fitzgerald stays hot, and I did forget to mention one thing, so my guy Dom in the chat reminded me, don't forget Casey Schmidt too. His home run and his defense tonight. Dom, you are 100% right, my guy. Casey Schmidt just obliterated a ball early in the second inning for the Giants' first run of this game. He just crushed that ball. And I mean, Casey is a guy who has a lot of power. We know this about Casey Schmidt. He hit that ball 420 feet, a great number, a nice number. I love that number. I mean, who doesn't love the number 420? Pat Bailey loves the number 420. Remember the game on 420 when Pat Bailey bobblehead day when he hit that walk-off bomb? Pat Bailey loves 420, and Casey Schmidt loves him some 420 taters too. And 109 miles an hour off the bat, he just killed that ball. And for a guy who gets sparing playing time and is moved around a lot, sometimes he's playing short, sometimes he's playing third, sometimes today he was playing second. And he played really good defense out there, which has been a hiccup point for him in his early career. We got to give Casey Schmidt some credit today. He's kind of getting lost in the shuffle of all these young kids, but he was one of the Giants that we were really excited about last season when he made his debut and showed us all that he could really hit. I mean, kid's got some power for his size. He's just got to get better with that batting average, and he's doing a little better this year. He's batting .231. It's a little more respectable, but still some work to do, and it's hard to do that in spot playing time. It's tough to develop any kind of consistency. We'll see how he fits in with this group too. You got got kind of a logjam now with the Wisleys, the Fitzgeralds. There's a lot of other guys, young guys in the system who play the same positions that Casey does. So I'm curious to see how he fits in with this team going forward. It'll be interesting. But tonight, the story was Blake Snell. And just one more time, we got to mention it again. Let's just go over Blake Snell's numbers one more time because this guy tonight was awesome. And we haven't really talked about the swings and misses too much. Last time out, he had 30. Tonight, he had 21, which is less than 30, obviously, but I guess you can't have a record-setting number of swings and misses every single night you're out on the mound. We'll live with 21 and a 40% swing and miss rate for Blake Snell. I mean, on that changeup and slider, his two secondary pitches that he doesn't use a whole heck of a lot, he generated 6 swings and misses on only 10 pitches. So those were working pretty well for him, even though he wasn't throwing a ton of them, only threw 16 changeups and 5 sliders. What he really did all of his work, though, today, as he normally does, he used the four-seamer and the curveball. As I said earlier in the show, he's gotten a lot better at busting righties inside with that high-velocity four-seamer and then complementing it with that curveball. He tunnels the fastball and curveball so well. And when you're busting the right-hander inside with that four-seamer and then you tunnel the curve to look like it's going to come in the same spot, I mean, that's why you get these guys that are swinging at these scud missiles in the dirt, just looking silly out there because it looks like the four-seamer out of the hand. And with the velocity that Snell has on that four-seamer, you got to start that swing early. And with as slow as that curve comes in, with as big and bendy as it is, it makes guys look real silly up there. And Blake Snell on that curveball, he threw 40 of them. He generated 20 swings and 10 misses, a 50% swing and miss rate. The hardest contact that came off of that curveball was just 90 miles an hour, which I guess qualifies as hard hit, but just barely 0.4 miles an hour less. And this thing would have been not considered hard hit according to sabermetrics and all that fun stuff. And the smarter people who are much, much smarter than me decide all those things. But the curveball was great tonight. As I said, 50% swing and miss rate, average exit velo of just 72.5. So he was able to get a ton of soft contact and a ton of swings and misses. Obviously, when you pair those two things together, some good things are gonna happen. And on the fastball, he got some swings and misses there too. 5 swings and misses with the fastball. It came in at a 23% clip as he generated 22 swings on that pitch. Blake Snell was just awesome tonight. I mean, today the four-seam fastball average velo was just a tick under 97. He was at 96.8. It's up about a whole mile an hour faster from his yearly average of 95.7. His fastest pitch came in at 98.3. So Blake Snell just dominant, man. Just absolutely dominant today. I mean, he was doing his thing out there on the mound. 114 pitches, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks. Blake Snell got 9 flyouts today, and I mean, he's very different than a lot of the other Giants pitchers on the staff. He is a fly ball strikeout guy, which is why it's so hard for him to go deep into games and keep that pitch count low. 114 pitches is a lot for Blake Snell, but usually he's a guy who will eat up about that many pitches if he goes about 7 innings on a normal night. He did a great job of really limiting that pitch count and getting outs when he needed to, getting quick outs, especially late there in that game. That 8th inning, that 9th inning, he was so efficient, barely throwing any pitches in the last 2 innings of this one to round it out. And Blake Snell deserves a lot of credit. I know we're up against it. We're right at time here, but I got 2 more things for you. One, I told you I would revisit the Farhan comments. And the Farhan comment I want to revisit is the best pitching staff in baseball comment. Farhan said a lot of other things that made me feel like he was minimizing the intelligence of Giants fans. And that really frustrates me because Giants fans are a lot of things. They're emotional. They're sometimes completely ridiculous and off their rockers and say some wild stuff, some off the wall things. Sometimes we've all seen Giants Twitter and what a cesspool that place can be sometimes. But the one thing that Farhan said, I won't stand for someone making Giants fans sound dumb because Giants fans know ball pretty damn well, according in my mind, a lot better than a lot of other fan bases. And when he kind of does his little, when he kind of diminishes certain questions and things like that reporters are asking, it feels like he does not have any sense or pulse of what the average Giants fan is thinking or feeling. But I will say, it was a hard pill to swallow when he said the Giants have the best pitching staff in all of baseball, and then Robbie Ray went out there and gave up 3 home runs to the Oakland Athletics. It was tough, but we know what Robbie Ray did in his first start back. He had a 5 innings no hitter. It was not a Blake Snell 9 innings shutout no hitter because Robbie Ray did give up a run in that outing. But you combine that with the way that Hayden Birdsong has come on, with the way that Kyle Harrison has been pitching all season long. He's had a couple games with 11 plus strikeouts this season. And then you got Logan Webb throwing complete game shutouts. You got Blake Snell, a sub-1 ERA for an entire month after this guy's ERA was up around 10 for the first half of the season. I mean, this guy's clearly regained form. Logan Webb is Logan Webb. He's been Logan Webb the whole time, all-star. We love Webby here on the show. And this pitching staff, really, at least starter-wise, really does seem to be rounding into form. The one thing I'll push back on is we still have a big question mark at the back end of the bullpen. Duvall has been up and down all year long. Walker has been really good. Rogers has been really solid. But you got to have a go-to answer in the 9th inning. And maybe the Giants pitchers can just go out there and pitch complete game shutouts for the rest of the way. I mean, that simply is all they have to do. Just never use the bullpen for the rest of the season, and maybe the Giants win their last, 55 some odd games. I think that's really what they got to do. Obviously, it's completely unrealistic. This bullpen needs to be able to shore up games at the back end. You need to be able to trust going to your closer with a 1-run lead, which I didn't really feel all that comfortable turning over that Logan Webb 1-0 complete game shutout lead over to Camilo Doval in the 9th. And obviously they weren't going to take Webby out of that game, but say his pitch count was higher and you just had to go to Doval, that would have been a really stressful situation. I trusted Webb in that situation more than I would have trusted going to Camilo Doval. Similar situation tonight, although the Giants had a bigger lead when they had a 2-0 lead. I was kind of sitting there going, I don't know if Snell's going to be able to finish this. If he runs into some trouble, starts walking some guys, it's going to be a stressful end to this game, and you don't want to see something as nice as that kind of start to devolve. So I will say, as much as Farhan's comments just grind my gears to no end when he makes Giants fans sound dumb or like they have no idea what they're talking about by asking for more offense and things like that, the one thing I will give the guy credit for, if he decided to stand pat on Blake Snell when we all thought that trading him out was the right move to do, and if Snell pitches like this for the rest of the season, the Giants go to the playoffs, and if he comes back next year We all got to eat it. We all got to eat the humble pie and say that Farhan was right. We got a long way before we get to that point. But I think if Snell sticks with this team, and the key to this, the massive big key to this, it's two parts. Giants got to make the playoffs for that to be even like remotely in the realm of a good decision. You have to. If you miss the playoffs, immediately bad choice. Second thing that needs to happen is Blake Snell needs to come back. If the Giants get to the playoffs and Blake Snell decides to not pick up that player option and moves on at the end of the season, that's not going to do it, man. Like, it would have been a nice playoff berth, but the Giants are in the business of winning World Series, not wild card berths. That's what we want. That's what we deserve as Giants fans. That's what this organization has shown that the expectation can be. That's what we're going for. And a playoff appearance in a wild card game is not going to satisfy Giants fans. It's just point blank not. And you got to figure out a way to retain the talent into next year. I would love to have Blake Snell on this roster next year, but I think you needed to guarantee you're going to have talent of some sort and not just have this mass exodus of talent coming out of your starting pitching staff. I mean, you need to make sure that you can do it again next season and better than they did this season. That make sure that you don't hit the ground, the opposite of running, whatever that was, crawling on, like belly crawling, and not fast at all. The Giants, man, what a day. Blake Snell, no hitter, his first career no hitter, first time that he even threw a pitch in the ninth inning of his career, first Giants no hitter in nearly a decade since 2015. What a fun night. And I just got to say, I already mentioned it. I already told you guys I went and saw the Dead and Company at the Sphere. And I know you've probably heard it from a million other people, and you probably don't really want to hear another guy who's got to go do something super cool like this tell you about it. And I'm not going to go super deep into it, but man, oh man, I don't care if you like the Dead or not. You need to go see a show at the Sphere in Las Vegas. If you are able, this should be, I mean, if you like concerts, live music in any way, nothing will be the same after I saw a show there, man. Like, just point blank, get out to a show there, take a day off and go out to the Sphere in Vegas before the Dead and Company leave their residency, or maybe go check out the Eagles if the Dead isn't your thing. When they come in next, it's the next band that's going to be out there. Go to a show there, man. Unreal. Just totally unreal, but not as unreal as a Blake Snell no-hitter. I never thought that we'd even see a complete game from this guy in his career. And not only does he go the distance, but he does it in a no-hitter for the San Francisco Giants. That's all the time we got for you guys today. I could just go for another hour today. I have so much I want to talk about with this game. We can just keep talking Blake Snell and pitching. Man, it would be fun, but we got to go. I like my job. I don't want to frustrate my bosses. I'm already 8 minutes too long on this show, so we got to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. We'll come to you live tomorrow as the Giants continue their series against the Cincinnati Reds in the Great American Ballpark. But oh man, I just got thought of another thing. Blake Snell doing this in a stadium that literally has the nickname the Great American Ballpark is nuts, bonkers. This is such a hitter's park, and Blake Snell just said, I don't care about your hitter's park. Your pitcher's park does not matter to me. Hold my beer. Watch this no-hitter happen. Oh, what a fun game. What a fun day for the Giants. What a fun week for Triple E, man. A great start to the birthday month, and we're going to keep rolling all month long, and hopefully the Giants do too. We need them to have a good month of August if they have any shot of making the postseason. All right, I think that's all the time that we got for you today now here on the Locked On Giants Postcast. A long show for you guys today, some extra bonus content. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you next time. Peace.